Camels, the cigarette so many doctors enjoy.
The world's most thoroughly tested filter. That's Snow Fresh Filter Cool.
Kearns uncovered how the sugar industry laid its own trap to deceive.
The sugar industry was very good at following a line that tobacco industry has done quite well in, which is to obfuscate science.
How the sugar industry paid experts to downplay health risks.
The sugar industry paid scientists to find either that sugar had very little to do with a range of public health outcomes, or more successfully pointed the finger away from sugar towards fat. And that's why you had, through the 1970s, a very successful deflection by the sugar industry of regulation away from itself towards the regulation around the consumption of fat.
Are you making the most of your Marvel? Marvel makes cooking deliciously light and helps keep you looking just right when used in a calorie-controlled diet.
And so this started the low-fat craze. Example of that, skim milk. Turns out that dietary fat was actually good for us. Dietary fat actually suppressed cardiovascular disease. We took that out, and so basically we engineered our products to be toxic.
And they didn't just make foods that were unhealthy, they actually promoted them as being the better choice.
Try delicious Light and Fit Green. It's no ordinary non-fat yogurt. Be light and fit and satisfied.
In these folders, it listed all of the research projects that they were funding, the scientific consultants that they were working with, the PR firms they hired, the ways in which they were connecting with the media to get their messages across. Their strategy was to publish science that would be conflicting with evidence that might be linking sugar to obesity or diabetes or heart disease or tooth decay.
Along with paying scientists to write reports in its favor and masking its involvement by hiding its funding, the Sugar Association pushes back on findings it doesn't like, a strategy that's become common practice in many parts of the food industry. The influence of the sugar lobby extends to both the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Food and Drug Administration, the government divisions meant to regulate the industry.
The heads of each of these organizations can come from the industry. They go back to the industry. They make sure that other people from the industry go back into government. And so there is this revolving door that basically keep the USDA and the FDA from being able to be overhauled. It's known as agency capture, and the USDA and the FDA are the most famous captured agencies in American government.
In fact, the scientific committee that reviewed the dangers of sugar for the FDA was led by a man named George Irving. He was also a paid consultant for the sugar industry.
So he was responsible for that safety review of sugar. And that's a common strategy, is to get industry-friendly scientists on these review committees.
It works for the food industry, and ultimately it works for government too, because they make $56 billion off the tariffs each year.